My name is Mandeep Bawa, and today's date is June 21st, 2015. In 1984, I was 17 years old. I was a student in New Delhi, South Delhi. The news, I think through the media, yeah, or through people, I don't remember exactly. That's what, we weren't getting complete details. There was a lot of rumors, there was a lot of hearsay, and people just talking about it. And, so we just had to make up the fact because we were getting in fact, there was not much information at all in the first few days. So we heard about it from somebody. I was like, I didn't even know that happened, and I was going to a friend of mine to do current part duty, and so on the way, somebody told me, Sardar do you know Indira Gandhi was killed by a Sikh? And I said, I didn't know that, but I went ahead to their house because that was closer than going back to my house. So after I finished my duty, I told the people where I was at about that, and they hadn't heard about it either. So when I started coming back, it was like around 6 or 7 in the evening. And so when I was passing through a university, in our neighborhood, IIT campus, um, then there were students who came and like circled my bike and said, "Oh, you can't go any further, you can't go any further." I said, "Why?" He said, "They are killing people over there, lighting them on fire, beating them up and lighting them on fire, putting tires around them. Sikhs. Any Sikhs they see, they are killing them. So if you go across this gate, we cannot protect you and you could die." So then they took me into their mess and their common room, and then I waited. I called the person that whose house I'd come from, and so we waited until it was very dark, and I called my house saying, I'm stuck here, I won't be back home until late. And then when it got really dark, then somebody on a bicycle put me on the bike, or my bike, and rode me back to my house, like at midnight or 1 in the morning. There was nobody, through like back roads, and that was actually in hindsight very scary, because if somebody had spotted us on our way there, or actually it was like really early in the morning, like at 3 a.m. or 4 a.m. And on the way we saw taxi stands that had been burned down, taxi stands owned by Sikhs. And so now we were so scared that, what if somebody saw us, and we could be ambushed and killed. But fortunately, we got there, but after we got home, we realized it was a big mistake to have even tried that, taken that risk. So from after that, we were like holed up for several days, 5-10 days inside the house, because it was so dangerous for Sikhs to go out. So our neighbors had to help us get milk or whatever, and they were kind enough to help. And we heard that some other neighbors, other Sikh neighbors, people had gone to burn their house, but because these were flats, the other neighbors objected, saying, our house will get burned too, so don't burn the houses. And then our whole Gurdwara, the local Gurdwara, which is like within half a mile, that was totally burned down. Munirka was burned down. And so that was very hard to hear. And then my brother-in-law, my sister was in Japan at that time, so suddenly they came back here, like 15 days later after this. Things had improved a little bit, so we said, okay, why are they suddenly here? And then we heard that my brother-in-law's brother hadn't come back, was missing for several days. And then later on we found out that he went to protect a Gurdwara which was being burnt, and they burnt him along with the Gurdwara. So that was like a real, in our family, his name was Surinder Singh Grover. It was so hard on our family that I didn't even feel, when I would go to the university, people would justify it, this is good that happened because Sikhs had done something's wrong, and so kind of they deserved it, like in front of me. in the university, so I felt like I didn't want to even go to school there. So then I moved my school to Chandigarh, which I went to a really nice school, the best in Delhi, and people couldn't get admission there, and I was probably the only one in our school, one other person who got in there. I left all that in the middle of the school year and then moved, and I kind of lost 1 year, but I said I don't want to stay here anymore. So I went to Chandigarh, never came back to Delhi, studied the whole thing. So my life completely changed because I would have been in Delhi and gone to university and then masters and everything. I would never have gone to Chandigarh, but now everything's changed. I went to Punjab University, did all my schooling there, and after that I felt so disenchanted that I said I don't want to stay in India. And then I started looking for schools outside, so came to Simon Fraser in Vancouver, BC to do my master's in business administration. So I think my whole life changed after that. Right now I think some people are totally oblivious, or they have forgotten, or moved on. So I think it hasn't been given the due importance either by our community or by the other communities. So if you don't come to terms with it or deal with it, then something like this can always happen again. And that's one thing. And the second thing is, those who were mistreated, they deserve to receive justice, even if it is years later. Like, we had those the massacre, or the against the Jews, in World War II, and people still are talking about it and trying to find those Nazis who killed the Jews, the Holocaust. But what about this, So, even they are willing to talk about something that happened like 50, 60 years ago, but they won't talk about something that recently one community in contemporary times is picked and massacred by the government, Yeah. So I think it deserves closure for those people who went through that. And also, community needs to come together in terms of how to deal with things that are currently even happening with our community that shouldn't.